So today we're in Barcelona and we're heading off for a Segway tour. I'm using the gimbal, so this video is probably a little bit bumpy. Anyway, join us for the ride.
Hello world, wake me up to another good morning, time to go. Oh, we are all looking for adventure. 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 We are all looking for adventure.
We left Cannes and headed to Barcelona. It was 2 days of sailing, and when we arrived, we were met with a magnificent sunrise. Such a great benefit to have a balcony on a ship. It was great to see the skill of the captain reverse park the ship in a very tight spot. Now Barcelona is a very organised city, very much like Canberra, and it didn't take us too long to find Euro Segway in some of the alleys behind the main waterfront. This wasn't our first time using a Segway. We'd actually done it before in Rome, and it didn't take us very long at all to pick it back up again. So a Segway has to be one of the best ways to explore a city. You can traverse so much ground in such a short period of time. Our tour was around 2.5 hours, and we had an expert guide called Philippe. Philippe would stop at different intervals and give us a bit of a spiel about different aspects of the city. One of the things that we didn't realise was that Barcelona used to be a very industrial place, and it's only since the Barcelona Olympics that the city was actually redesigned. All of these beaches that we went along were actually man-made. Quite amazing when Philippe showed us pictures of what it used to look like before. If you're enjoying our videos, make sure you hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification button too. That way, you'll find out where we're off to next. We explored the entire length of the foreshore. Definitely a great way to do it on a Segway. We didn't crash into any of the other walkers either, which was great. We definitely got to see a great variety of landscapes right across the city. The Segways handled dirt tracks just as well as they did the bitumen. We had a couple of cameras going. Sharon had a GoPro around her neck, I had one on the handlebars, and I used my phone from time to time as well. We stopped off at an area where all the champions of the Olympics were recognised. It was great to see some Aussies there with their names on brass plaques as well. Barcelona's set up really well, with bike paths everywhere, even along the main streets. We felt really safe wherever we went. Philippe took us into the park, which actually used to be an old fort that was pulled down. Really interesting, with a beautiful fountain right in the centre. It was great to have a bit of a play. Sharon likes spinning the wheels on that Segway. We travelled right through the park, looking at a few interesting sights along the way. So we left the park and made our way back to Euro Segway. So many different places that we drove on this particular tour. It was even a bit of an adventure driving up through the little narrow alleyways back to the business. Philippe was an excellent guide, and we thoroughly recommend doing a Segway tour if you get the opportunity. So after all of our sightseeing, we were a little bit peckish, and Philippe the tour guide had recommended a local bodega that served tapas. So we went to give it a try. They actually brewed their own beer, which was absolutely fantastic. Now we tried some of the local cuisine, some potato bravos, which I guess is a bit like our potato skins and sour cream and sweet chilli sauce, some croquettes that were absolutely fantastic, and then we had some meat bombs. These are a little bit like croquettes, but with some beef inside and served with the delicious sauce. Definitely filled a hole. We then went for a bit of an explore and saw some of the locals dancing. We impressed some of the locals with our filming, and we, as always, loved the buildings. The architecture is just fantastic in Barcelona. The buildings are really interesting and definitely a change from our local scenery. What was also interesting was visiting one of the churches and seeing some electric guitar being played out in front. Not something you see every day, but definitely entertaining. We kept exploring the streets and we ended up visiting the market. Now, we'd been to this market before. It was a little bit similar to the one that we went to in Florence, but we had to try some more of the local cuisine. So we had a look around and saw lots of confectionery, lots of beautiful meats, herbs and spices, loads of fish, which didn't really impress Sharon that much. I've got to say, the smell wasn't great. And then we purchased some of their local ham called jamon and some manchego cheese. We also got some figs and we settled outside in the shade to give them a try. Now, the jamon ham and the manchego cheese was delicious, and the ham definitely had a different flavour to the prosciutto that we've been getting in Italy. But by far our favourite were the figs. We bought just a couple and we ended up going back and buying an entire punnet. They were the most delicious figs I think we've ever eaten. From there it was time to head back to the ship. We didn't want to get left behind, and we had some reggae music to get back to, along with a few cocktails. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and don't forget, you can escape the everyday too. See you next time.